This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like the things. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Dropping bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that brown. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, then you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, got to go. Got to go. To the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they worth. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might get a little more Lucci. G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing inside between them buns. Shorty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like a 94. When I have the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Shh. Yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your.
You know, there are some words I've known since I was a schoolboy. With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censored, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably.
All right, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Ninja Master in the chat says, "Did you guys hear about Trump's guilty verdict?" I hadn't heard anything about that. I don't know, man. That's the first I'm hearing about that. Everybody just say, "Did you hear?" You might even be joking, but literally, like, did you just have just messages and fucking texts and shit from people? Did you hear? I'm like, nah. It reminds me of that morning. I believe it was a Friday morning Well, Friday morning, like noon, because that's when I get up, because I'm a fucking vampire. But, wake up, pull my phone over, I got just messages from like 3 or 4 different people like, dude, Christian fucked his mom. I'm like, alright. That's something to wake up to, isn't it? But yes, Chad, I did hear about Trump's guilty verdict. And yes, Chad, we were playing the Perfect Strangers theme song. I don't know. It ended up in my fucking algorithm, just like, do you want to listen to this? And I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of do. That show, I looked it up too because I was kind of curious about it after it popped up on my algorithm. Ran from 86 to 93. I didn't even realize it ran that late. It was in the Friday ABC TGI lineup when that first started, but the show's even, I think, a little older than that. And I remember watching that fucking show as a kid, like a little ass fucking kid. Some of my earliest memories are watching this fucking sitcom about two bachelors trying to bang chicks. And I kind of thought to myself, like, the cousin from the far country, I don't even think they say what country it is. It's just some vaguely Eastern European country that they maybe made up. He's from fucking Latveria. He escaped Dr. Doom's tyrannical reign. I don't know. But I thought about that, and I kind of... If you're as old as me, if you're older millennial, Gen X or older, you might remember this, but, like, we used to just watch shit we probably shouldn't have been watching. Shit that... Let me put it this way. I say probably shouldn't. We used to watch shit that wasn't specifically geared towards us. That maybe was made to be kind of okay for us, but, like, was... Perfect Strangers was not a show written for a fucking 6 or 7 years old to watch. And I feel like that was good for kids to do. Like, I feel like part of the problem, I know I'm sounding like an old fogey here, and we'll get to the big story, don't worry, everybody's talking about it, we can talk about other shit for a while, but part of the problem with, like, I always use this cutoff, we'll say 93, all the kids born after 93, is I feel like they weren't, like, I remember as a kid I'd watch in the primetime, like, whatever fucking sitcoms my dad was watching, because he just wanted to be with the adults, you know what I mean, in the evening. And, like, you take nowadays, right? Like, when I was a kid, like, the things you were exposed to as a kid, it was, like, a combination of whatever the fuck was on TV, and then, like, older brothers and your dad and older cousins. I didn't have brothers, but just in general, older kids, older cousins, that kind of thing, showing you things. Like, I mean, there's a lot of 80s movies I have very fond memories of as a kid that were before my time. I mean, And then you take, like, a kid now, and he's not, like, exposed to any of that shit. He's, like... What a kid watches now is what an algorithm on YouTube or the Roku picks for them knowing they are a child. You know what I mean? Like, when I was, like, 9 or 10, I want to say, one of my favorite fucking shows in the world was Get Smart. I discovered that fucking thing it was a spy parody from the fucking 60s. Discovered it on Nick at Night. Thought it was fucking hilarious. And in, like, less than a year's time, proceeded to watch the entirety of that show. So, like, 5 nights a week. And then, shit, I can remember being in, like, fucking middle school. And I'm watching, like, Frasier and Seinfeld. You know what I mean? And I'm in, like, 7th grade. I remember being in 8th grade, specifically, watching the fucking Seinfeld finale. And being disappointed with it. I can remember being in high school. You ever see that clip on Family Guy when Stewie's in fucking daycare and he's looking at the other babies going, did anybody catch the practice last night? I dozed off right before the verdict. And that always made me laugh when I first saw that, because that was early Family Guy. I was still in high school. But I'm like, that was me in high school. I'm literally like, did anybody catch the practice last night? Like, no. Like, there's not enough of that with kids now. And I feel like that's, like, you talk to somebody born after 1993. And, like, talk to somebody, like, who was a kid in, like, the 5th or 6th generation of gaming or something. And, like, hey, did you ever see RoboCop? You know what I mean? They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, they know of it, maybe, but, like, they're almost like boomers in that they have that little narrow view of, like, only what was around in their formative years is all they fucking know. But no, I think it was kind of cool back when the kids were exposed to a lot of shit that, I mean, you could argue maybe they shouldn't have been, but I think it was better for them. I don't know. Somebody says low birth rates means a lot of the kids with no siblings. Yeah, but like, okay, fine, but I was an only child. You know what I mean? I had cousins. Hell, I had biological cousins, but my cousin, the one I most think of when I think of my cousin, who passed away back in December after a battle with cancer, isn't blood relative to me at all. He's not related. He wasn't related to me at all, not by blood or marriage. It's just his parents and my parents were close friends, so I grew up with him, so he was my cousin, basically. One of those situations. I can't imagine there's much of that anymore. The way sense of community and all has been shredded. But yeah, like I hung out with some older kids in the neighborhood, and you know, you want to be cool, you want to like get along with the older kids and shit, you know, like. So he said Terminator was a bridge too far for me as a kid. RoboCop is no problem though. I remember watching, like, renting RoboCop one time, and that was because, like, I was like 10 when RoboCop 3 came out, and that was the first time I really remember to push. Right around 93 and 94, there was a huge push for RoboCop. He got like a cartoon after that third movie. I mean, the third movie bombed and was terrible, but like, I guess they were trying to recover money. That's when like the RoboCop Terminator comic came out, and then they made like a video game on every fucking system based on that and shit. I remember Terminator 2 came out. I was like 9 or something, maybe 8, and I remember everybody talking about it. And then, like, my dad and I rented Terminator 1. He was fine. He was like showing me like R-rated action movies and shit when I was a kid. He was he was kind of socially conservative in some ways, but he was fine with that. Like a typical boomer. I mean, I love the guy, but like a typical boomer, if it was something that confused and frightened him. Like, he wasn't fine with rap in the house. It could be the most and it was just, of course, I grew up to love rap, because if any of you have kids or intend to have kids, just know the forbidden. I love rap. I fucking love rap, and in no small part because he didn't want any of it in the fucking house, and I almost wasn't like. I wouldn't necessarily get in trouble if I listened to it, but like, if I listened to it within earshot of him, he like shrieked like a fucking vampire showing a cross and like, turn that shit off. And I couldn't even listen to like harmless ass rap, like fucking pre-Bel Air fucking Will Smith was too much for him. But you know, meanwhile, fucking show me the Terminator when I'm like 8 years old. Meanwhile, when I'm 7, we go see Total Recall in the theater. What can I say? Just said kids don't hang out in real life. What are you talking about? I guess that's part of it too. I mean, I'm just old enough to remember, you know. You ever see that post, like people making fun of it, where it's like some.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Oh my gosh, it must have sucked to grow up in the 80s and 90s. Like, you just stuck in a house with no internet. It's like, motherfucker, stuck in a house. I would just disappear from the house for hours on end. What do you know where the fuck I was? It's just fine. Duke of Tumwater tips 3 and says, when I was a kid, my parents were super restrictive with regards to what I was allowed to watch. So I felt left out because so many of my peers were able to watch R-rated movies and stuff. I was born in 96. That sucks, man. So he said most 80s and 90s rap is very safe. What do people have a problem with exactly? Well, there's two things. Okay, so there was the gangster rap element, the let's go murder cops element, you know, the really cool shit. The good shit. And, you know, that wasn't cool. We can't have those uppity Negroes doing that. But it was also just the fact that, like, let's be real. Like, boomers hated rap for the same reason boomers hated video games. It wasn't something they had as a teenager, and therefore it was scary. It was scary and wrong to them. It's that simple. Like, that's why boomers overreact. It's why boomers were so fucking scared of those things that Congress had hearings about how fucking scared boomers were about it. And it's like, oh my god, the kids with their Mortal Kombats. It's like such harmless shit. But boomers were terrified of it. RoboCop rules too. Send a super chat and apologize for not having seen it, but then go fucking watch RoboCop. The fuck's wrong with you? I'm not even telling you to watch RoboCop 2 and 3 because 2 is it's fine. It's a good movie. It's like a Ghostbusters 2 situation where its biggest problem is that it's not the literal masterpiece that preceded it. 3 is legitimately bad. 3 is fucking terrible. You gotta understand, 3 is the point where the director was told, like, make it kid friendly, and also we ran out of money. But 1 is a stone cold fucking classic. Like, one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, one of the best action movies ever made, simply one of the best movies ever fucking made. I would say that with Terminator too. I don't think Terminator's as good as RoboCop, but Terminator 1 and 2 are fucking fantastic. Forget all the rest of the sequels. If ever there was a movie that didn't demand a sequel, it was anything after Terminator 2. When the antagonist of the story is literally erased from the space-time continuum. I've never seen a movie shut the door to sequels harder than Terminator 2, only to have like 87 more sequels. Alien 1 and 2, go watch those. Alien and Aliens, go watch those. Fucking Zoomers. Hell, Alien 3 is not that bad. If you like Alien 1 and 2, it's worth a watch. I mean, it's not great. It has its problems, but I don't think it's terrible by any stretch. Predator 1 and 2. I would even add Predators. The one where they were all on that planet together. That one's pretty good too. So he says pretty much no RoboCop past 1 is a masterpiece, but the first season of the live action show is decentish writing. I've never seen the live action show. I keep meaning to, man. I did watch some of the cartoon on YouTube, and I mean, again, it's a Saturday morning cartoon of RoboCop, so, you know, adjust your expectations accordingly. But as far as Saturday morning cartoons in the 90s go, it's not bad. If I'd have caught it as a kid, I probably would have gotten into it. So it says Hellraiser's classic. Hellraiser is a great movie. I love the Hellraiser franchise. I've made no secret about that. I think the mythos behind Hellraiser is amazing. I just recently watched, I think it's Hellraiser Judgment, where it's not the one where a tranny plays Pinhead, although that is oddly fitting, that they made on Hulu. I'm talking about the one where it was just some other guy playing Pinhead, and I kept hearing to stay away from it. It was pure trash, and I gotta say, pretty good actually. They introduced a lot of new Cenobites that are pretty interesting. It's worth a watch. I think it's Hellseeker is the one where there's like a detective, and he was in one of the Law and Order shows, that actor, but like there's this big mystery around like what's going on, and Pinhead's kind of mind fucking him, and it turns out he was dead the whole time or something. That one's pretty good. 1 and 2 are pretty damn good. It's a bit goofy, but, you know, almost all of them are at least okay. There's a few really bad ones towards the end, but, like, most of them are at least pretty decent. So yeah, Chad, I don't know if you heard, but Trump got convicted on bullshit. I mean, what was it even? He was fucking some whore, and then supposedly paid hush money for her to shut the fuck up. And he probably didn't even do that. Even all the lefty media outlets, like 2 days ago, were saying, yeah, he's probably getting acquitted, or he's probably hung jury. Because even they were admitting there's no fucking case. But I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but I thought it would have been a hung jury. I'd have put money down on it. And at least one of those people of the 12 would have had a soul and been like, no, this is stupid. This is retarded. But I don't know. I guess, I mean, it was obviously a sham trial. And I think what drives me nuts, because look, on one level, I kind of don't give a fuck about Trump. Because, like, this is sort of what you get, Donald. You know, there's an expression, if you hit the dragon, you better slay the dragon. And you didn't hit the dragon, Donald. You went into the dragon's cave, and you talked boatloads of shit, and you threw a little rock at it, and now it's burning down the village. All right? You pissed it off. You didn't drain the swamp. You just stirred it up, and now it stinks even worse. I mean, even at the end, Trump, when they fucking stole the election from you and they're running you out of town, you could have on that last day just been like, all right, well, I'm going to break your toys on the way out the door. You gone ahead, pardon Snowden, pardon Assange, pardon that tranny Manning, declassify everything but the fucking launch codes. But you didn't do any of that because you fucking bitch-made nigga. And you thought you could just slink away and they weren't going to come after you. After all the boatloads of shit you talked, like, oh, Hillary, you'd be in jail. Did you think you were going to talk all that cash money shit and you were just going to walk away? I'm amazed he didn't get you on more shit. Like, how did you think it was going to go? You know, and all them fucking January 6th protesters, and that's all they were was fucking protesters, you know, none of them guilty of anything more than possibly light trespassing, if that. And all of them are in fucking Gitmo right now, and you don't give a shit. You never gave a shit. Alright, you were out there selling your NFTs and your hats and all that other dumb shit. You never fucking cared, Donald. So there is a part of me right now. It's like, whatever. I don't give a fuck what they do to you. Let them run it up your ass. There's a part of me that says that. But I also would like you to become president in November because I would like to afford gas and groceries again. So there is that. What drives me nuts, and again, you know, trust me, I got my reasons to spit in Trump's face. You know? You didn't drain the swamp. You got in there like, yeah, we're totally going to drain the swamp. We're going to fuck shit up. It's going to be great. And you get in there and be like, well, maybe I make John Bolton my UN secretary or ambassador. And maybe I make Jeff Sessions my attorney general. And maybe I'll listen to that fucking slimy Jew my daughter married and take all his bad advice. And I'll go kiss the Israeli wall and all this other gay shit that you decided to do once you're in office. And again, even on the last day, you didn't pardon anybody. You pardoned like some rapper or something. Fuck off, man. There's a real part of me that's just like, whatever they do to you, man. Maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best they string you up. Maybe that'll actually get conservatives to fucking find their balls. See, it's so hard to get conservatives fired up about anything except shit that don't matter. You can get them fired up about like butt sex and about fucking abortion. And that's about it. You can get a conservative really mad if there's an ugly-looking tranny in his beer commercial. Oh, he's fighting mad then. Too much rainbow shit at the Target, and we're fucking mad about it. But you know, anything actually fucking matters. It's a little harder. So maybe if they string your ass up, maybe then conservatives will find their fucking nuts. Maybe then they could take all that energy they put towards a fucking tranny on a beer can and actually apply it towards something that fucking matters. I doubt it, but maybe. But what drives me nuts is all the fucking smug lefties out there like, the other presidents aren't convicted felons. Not even that they're condemning Trump, it's almost like they're like attributing sainthood to our other living presidents because of this. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Joe Biden raped his daughter, okay? Can we be real for a fucking second? I didn't say that. His fucking daughter said that in her diary. A diary which the FBI confirmed was indeed hers. Joe Biden molested his daughter. All right? And probably not just his daughter. I mean, why do you think Hunter's all fucked up? And that's to say nothing of all the shady fucking business deals, 10% for the big guy shit. Right? And let's go back a little ways. Obama's a fucking war criminal. Probably married to a tranny. Yeah, sure. But a fucking war criminal, okay? Which is ironic because he ran on criticizing the fact that W was a war criminal. And he was. Even more so than Obama. Bill Clinton is a fucking rapist, okay? There's just swaths of women sexually assaulted and raped in his fucking wake. Him and his wife have likely had, mostly his wife, have likely had people fucking murdered. Nobody has that many friends that commit suicide. George H.W. Bush probably orchestrated, if not had a hand, in murdering JFK. The list goes fucking on. Trump is the least guilty of any president in my lifetime, my father's lifetime, and probably his father's. And you just sit here and be like, first of all, most of these people like, sure, Trump's a felon now. What was he even convicted on? Ask him. If you're talking to him one-on-one, ask him on the spot. They don't even know. They don't even know because it's such made-up, convoluted horse shit. But no, I'm supposed to sit here and be like, oh yeah, Trump's guilty. Guilty of what? Yeah, they railroaded him. I don't know. He can appeal. I mean, I saw people passing a picture of the fucking New York Appeals Court around, and it looks like a fucking cast reunion of Moesha. So I don't know if he's getting anywhere on that. He can go up higher than that. I guess it could go all the way to Supreme Court. I don't know, man. What are we even going to do here? Are we going to throw him in jail? Don't you have to give him a Secret Service? Or maybe they'll just strip him of his Secret Service. Maybe they'll just hang him. I don't fucking know. Like, you want to run your mouth about the rule of law, but I mean, we're constitutional. Conservatives love to say that. You know, it's funny, conservatives. I remember in 2008, in the Republican primary, you had a constitutional candidate in Ron Paul, and you voted against him because he didn't want to bomb brown people for Israel. So I don't know if I really want to hear about constitutional. Plus, like the law. Like, fuck, what did we Judge Dredd? Guess what? The law is whatever the fuck a judge is going to put you to fucking jail for. The law is whatever a judge you're standing in front of fucking says it is. The law is whatever a cop is willing to stick a gun in your face for. That's what the law is at the end of the day. You can have all the high-minded fucking ideals and constitutions and shit, but this ain't fucking Hogwarts. The rules don't magically fucking enforce themselves, alright? And you could say, like, oh, well, you know, Republicans, like, haha, this opens the door to, you know, Republicans used to have immunity. Or, I'm sorry, politicians used to have immunity, and now they don't. I'm like, well, they never fucking should have, first of all. Let me say this. If Trump was legitimately guilty of a real fucking crime, I would completely support throwing him in the fucking jail, but he's not. I absolutely support putting Obama and George W. Bush in prison as war criminals, charging them with fucking crimes against humanity. I would like to see Joe Biden go into prison like the child fucking molester he is. That would be great. Of the entirety of our Congress, there's maybe on one hand I can count the amount of people who shouldn't be in prison. You know, one of our biggest problems, you know, lefties like to say Nixon was a monster. And he was, just not for the reasons they say. Nixon deserves to rot in hell for one, getting us off the gold standard. That alone. Fuck him. But yeah, he kind of broke the law a little bit, you know. Watergate was a minor thing. But what was damning there is, you know, he famously said that when the president does it, it's not illegal. And when Gerald Ford pardoned him, he basically put that into law. And understand, Trump didn't go to prison for... Wait, I didn't go to prison yet. But he wasn't found guilty of paying off a whore. That's not what he was found guilty of. Trump was found guilty of defying the people that are actually in charge. I don't mean the Democrats. Oh, the demon rats are behind it all. I mean the people that are actually in charge. Again, Trump wanted to talk all sorts of cash money shit about those people and not actually do anything towards them. And they're gonna want to try and make an example of them. And I know that, like, everyone's saying, his poll numbers probably shot up, but, like, what does that matter when the pizza boxes are going to go on the windows? I don't know. He might win, but he'd have to win by so much that they couldn't cheat it. And I don't know that he's going to do that. But even if he does win, and I hope he does, because I'd like to be able to afford gas again, you know? I'd like to be able to go to the store and buy a few chicken breasts and some veggies and a bottle of V8 Fusion and not feel like I got punched in the balls when I swipe my card, all right? I would like that a lot. But even if he wins, like, he didn't learn shit. I don't think he learned shit. I'd love it if he did. But I am skeptical that he did. And I'm sorry, man, if you're right-wingers, if you could get like half as fired up about shit like this as you were, like, you didn't like there was an ugly tranny in your beer commercial, like, maybe we, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I gotta be careful what I say or get thrown off YouTube. But I'm just saying, like, the people that founded this country, that judge would have been tarred and feathered by now, if not worse. Y'all ain't gonna do shit. Y'all ain't gonna do a fucking thing. I'm not gonna do a fucking thing. Only me. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna keep my head down, try and live my life till I died. Till I die. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna keep trying to find me a nice girl that wants to boss me around, and I'm gonna read my Ninja Turtle comics and try and get my fucking book done. I don't know where I'm gonna publish it now, but then comes the fun step of figuring out self-publishing. But I don't know. That's what I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna do shit. There ain't even a side for me to take. Because you know what? I know that there are large factions of the right that are at their core even worse. That's what's even sad about this. As nasty and corrupt and as fallen apart and as disgusting as all the shit on the left is, then I look at like a E. Michael Jones and be like, well, that would be even worse. Like a guy like him in charge. So Terror House has definitely done it. No, Terror House. I don't know anything. Okay, I've heard scuttlebutt. Terror House hasn't put anything out in a long time. I can tell you that much. You know, and I don't want to talk shit because Matt's a friend of mine, but he's basically vanished off the face of the earth too. I can't get in touch with him anymore. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it doesn't look good. I don't know anything official, but as it stands right now, you know, I don't as it stands right now, unless something changes, that's not even an avenue I would be pursuing. Ooh. He says Beckhoff has never spent so much on ball gags in this current economy. But you know, you gotta be a little bit creative, okay? I mean, a ball gag. That's nice. It's nice to have a nice official ball gag, but you know, I mean, push come to shove, she can always just shove her panties in your mouth and maybe put some tape over it. I mean, you know. So it says press F for 40. He's still alive. He's just, I don't know what's up with him. I can only speculate, and I don't feel comfortable speculating about it.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Certainly not on the air. Duke of Tumwater tips $3. Thank you very much for that while I'm out of work these 2 weeks. I appreciate every dollar. What are your thoughts on the Libertarian Party nominating Oliver Choice for the presidential ticket? I mean, Libertarian Party is a fucking joke. I am a Libertarian, and I'm not a member of the Libertarian Party. It's not just so I can vote in the primary on fucking... and the Republican ticket. I mean, they're a joke. They suck. The Libertarian Party hasn't had a worthwhile nominee since Harry Brown in 2000. I think maybe he ran in 2004 as well. I can't remember. I know he ran in 2000. Because I remember I actually wanted to donate to him, but I was 17. I couldn't. I think I had to I gave my dad like some cash I had to donate to him, and I had him write the actual check. So I will reach out to Matt. I need to get him to interview me. So I don't know, man. I've reached out to him a couple of times. I've heard some other people saying it. My theory, and again, I hate to speculate, is I think he just fell behind on some bills and he's panicking. You know, too many people are owed money right now and he doesn't know where to start. That's my theory. I don't know. I could be wrong. That's complete scuttlebutt. That's complete speculation on my part. And I probably shouldn't even have said all that. But, you know, I mean, you could just look at Terror House. It ain't put nothing out in a while. But no, I'm not voting for Chase Oliver. I'm sorry to tell you. And it ain't even that he's a homo. I don't give a shit that he's a homo. All right, like, who gives a fuck? All right. I don't care what you get up to in your fucking bedroom. I can't throw stones at anyone for that. But like, no, it's that he's a fucking. Oh, we should have all had to take the. He's not a libertarian. Is the fucking problem I have with him. He's a fucking lefty that maybe wants his taxes a little lower than most lefties. You know, he talks all this cash money shit about how much he loves BLM and fucking, you know, the vax was great, and he still wears a fucking mask. I know, I'm not voting for Chase Oliver. Fuck Chase Oliver. For all his faults, Donald Trump is more of a libertarian than Chase Oliver. Certainly on foreign policy, Donald Trump's the most libertarian fucking candidate we've had in a long time. That's not to say he is a libertarian, but he pulled things more in that direction than any other president in my fucking lifetime. Yes, including the right's fucking idol Reagan. You know, Reagan made some pretty speeches about small government, but that's about the extent of his small government fucking credentials. Then he cut taxes a little bit. So he says the LP romanced the Bernie bros after the DNC snubbed them, so they absorbed commies and there is no left libertarian. I mean, look, I think there are left and right libertarians in the sense of like, there are libertarians that are like kind of like fucking hippies. You know what I mean? They kind of like, maybe they're fucking Wiccans or some dumb shit like that, or they're fucking they're vegans, or they, you know, they're fucking. They like to smoke their pot. You know, they are socially pretty left-wing. They are liberal in the sense of the temperament. And then there are libertarians that are very conservative in the sense of the temperament, not politics. You know? You used to be able to go to like a Ron Paul rally back in the day, and you'd see like a straight-laced preacher, and you'd see like some tatted-up fucking goofball. And like, they're both libertarians. Because libertarian is not this whole fucking philosophy of life. Libertarian is just talking about what you think is the nature and purpose of government. And that's a conclusion you could come to from many different angles. Because it is so fucking obvious if you're not an idiot. He says he's a libertarian power bottom. I mean, I'll make the gay jokes, but again, I don't really give a shit that he's a fucking queer. Alright, whatever, man. That's between you and God. Him and I got our own stuff to work out. I can't worry about what you gotta take to him. So it says left libertarians want to do things like UBI and Canadian healthcare. Well, no, that's just a lefty. Okay. I'm talking about there are left and right libertarians in the sense of their personalities, essentially, their temperaments and their lifestyles. You know, there are people that live kind of a, you know, hedonistic, fucking bohemian lifestyle that are genuine libertarians. And then there are people that are very conservative socially. Not in the political sense. I mean, how they live their lives, you know, button down, you know, set you watch by everything in their fucking life, and they're fucking libertarians. They, you know, Styx Hexenhammer is a perfect example of what I would call an actual left libertarian. He is a libertarian, okay, but he's also a weird goofball that used to be like a Satanist, which is gay, and now he's like a pagan or something, and he makes a garden, probably smokes a bunch of weed. Ironically enough, he's more trad than a lot of the social conservatives, but that's a whole different story. But the point is, yeah, you can have left and right libertarian in that sense of the word. But like the weirdos that are like, you know, I'm a libertarian and here's why we should have communism. No, you're just pretending. Okay, you're just bullshitting. The same way there's a lot of right. By the way, there's a lot of right libertarians who aren't real libertarians. There's a lot of people that like to pretend to be libertarian, and then like, but we should ban weed, and maybe porn. Like, there's a lot of those fuckers too, in the Libertarian Party. Not as many, because most of them can just be Republicans. But there's a lot of Republicans that like to pretend to be libertarian when it suits them. So he says, I think the free folk will save us. Well, it's about time. And we shouldn't have mocked them, Chad. We should have mocked them. They tried to save us, but then the elves went to their own fucking waters, or whatever that goodbye stream there was. Sorry, we were going to take on the deep state and save the West, but some fat dork laughed. That was too much. But laughter is a powerful magic. Never forget it, man. Laughter is a powerful fucking magic. You can repel demons with fucking laughter. You really can. I mean, it's not as foolproof as, as the name of Christ. But I tell you what, there's a reason demons don't want to show their true self, because they don't want to get fucking laughed at. It is genuinely a thing they hate and fear. It's why all these shitbags in power can't stand it when you're making fun of them. Oh, they hate that. Which, by the way, is a reason that despite, even when I was hardcore Trump, I mean, my red MAGA hat and the whole 9 yards, probably before about 2018-ish. Even then, I didn't care if you made fun of Trump. Like that Family Guy episode making fun of Trump, I actually thought was pretty funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And I like making, look, most of the Colberts and those fucking losers, like the Jimmy Kimmels making fun of Trump, they just weren't funny. But I'm all for making fun of Trump because making fun of our politicians is a time-honored American tradition. We are, to paraphrase the mayor from Ghostbusters 2, treating our elected officials like dirt is every American's God-given right. I mean, a whole cloth, You go back to the 90s, and I mean, like, even from the quote-unquote liberal media and shit, I mean, like, Conan and Leno and Letterman and all, they used to relentlessly mock the shit out of fucking Clinton. Norm Macdonald used to talk about how Clinton hated his wife and was a murderer, like, every fucking weekend update. You go back further than that. Gerald Ford was a fucking college athlete. Gerald Ford was not a goofball klutz. But Gerald Ford tripped on the steps one time getting up into the fucking Air Force One. And Chevy Chase decided that was going to be his entire fucking tenure on SNL, was shitting on him for that. And good. Fuck him. And that's not just like the modern era. Like, back when we were a good Christian patriotic nation, all this shit. You go back to like the late 1700s into the early 1800s, you could find like political cartoons in major cities, in major newspapers in major cities, where it's just like a drawing of the mayor fucking a pig or something like that. Just absolutely childish shit. Hey, governor, this is you. It's just like a drawing of him sucking a dick. We were unruly assholes towards our elected officials from day one. And that's great. So yeah, I never got mad when lefties fucking made fun of Trump. Go ahead. He's a goofball. He's orange. His hair's ridiculous. Dude, have at it. I don't give a shit. I'm never going to be one of those guys where it's like, well, you can't do it because it's my guy. No, fuck that. That's gay. So he says, laughter, especially at oneself, breeds humility. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you can't laugh at yourself, you're in trouble. Never trust somebody who can't take a roast. Never trust somebody who can't take a roast. This is once officials had to deal with duels. They had no shit. Like, used to be you got too uppity, you might get dragged out of your house in the middle of the night. We were a crazy bunch. Like in every society, you know, the common man fears the powerful. That's inevitable because they're powerful. Of course they do. But what made our society was so great was that the powerful also feared the common man. Like, the cops knew there was certain shit they might do, and they're just not going home at night. She said, remember when Jerry Falwell got BTFO'd 9-0 in the Supreme Court because Larry Flint took... Oh, yeah, Larry Flint used to make, like... I don't think he drew him personally. I don't remember that exactly. But, like, there'd be comics, like little cartoons in Penthouse because Larry... You know, Jerry Falwell was talking all this cash money shit. I know, I'm using an expression a lot today. You know, what can I say? I'm ADD. I like to repeat myself. But talking all this shit at Larry Flint, you know, trying to get porn banned and all that. Larry Flint's like, here's you fucking a chicken. And Jerry Falwell was like, he can't do that. Arrest him. And it's like, he can, actually, Jerry. You fucking ridiculous buffoon. He was so ass mad. Imagine giving you shit. Like most people, you'd think a godly man could just be like, whatever, you fucking slimy pornographer. Like, I give a shit what you... But no, Jerry was fucking all... His ego was as bloated as his fat fucking ass. But yeah, Chad, I don't know what to tell you. It was an obvious, you know, the Trump thing, it was an obvious sham trial. You know, he'll appeal it. The initial wrong will probably get rejected. But, you know, he could take it up higher and you know, he should get thrown out. It was fucking horse shit. You know? I don't care. I'll vote for him. I know I talked to boatloads of shit about Trump, and I stand by every word of it. But, like, I'll fucking vote for him. What else am I going to do? I'm gonna vote. What am I going to vote for, the fucking homo? Like, I'm sorry. Again, I don't care that he was gay, but I happen to think libertarianism is about more than weed and buttholes, okay? Like... maybe about more issues than that. So it says, Jerry Falwell a fake Christian televangelist? I don't know if I'd say he's a fake Christian. Look, Jerry Falwell's a shithead, but I do not like to say a professing Christian wasn't really a Christian. That's not a thing I like to say. Even against professing Christians, I hate. You have to go pretty far. Like, I'll say E. Michael Jones isn't saved. E. Michael Jones has no Christ in him. I'll say that. I'll go that far. But, like, I won't even I'll say, I don't even definitively say that about James McDonald. And I hate James McDonald. Like, like, you have no idea. I can't express on YouTube how much I hate James McDonald. But he might be saved. Michael Jones probably not. See, Falwell was probably saved. He was a piece of shit, though. He was a shithead authoritarian asswipe. I don't know if I'd say fake Christian. And I mean, he was a lot more than a TV preacher. Jerry Falwell was a major fucking figure in American politics. I mean, Liberty University to this day is a fucking powerful institution. You know, even after his son kind of ran it into the dirt. So do you think Trump will take it all the way to the Supreme Court? I imagine he will. Unless they just, like, refuse to hear it or some shit like that. Unless it just gets blocked that way. I don't really know where this goes, guys. I know I'm going to vote for him. I don't know what to tell you. For whatever that means. For whatever good that is anymore. So he said, do you think conservatives will learn from this or still want to empower the state some more just to ensure they can never... No, they'll trust me. I'll tell you what I see happening in about 10 years. And I could be completely wrong. Sure. I think conservatives are going to take a lot of power. And I think that they're going to make things worse. I think one thing they're going to do is they're going to really push for banning porn. And that'll be goodbye to the last shreds of the First Amendment we have. And those same powers will get turned on them a few years later, and they'll act shocked because conservatives just love to get into power and do dumb shit like the Patriot Act and then be shocked when it blows up in their face. That's just what they do over and over and over again. Are they going to learn this time? I mean, I doubt it. You know, the kid already touched the stove like 47 fucking times in a row and doesn't seem to... His hand is like melting off at this point. I don't think he's getting the message. But maybe this time they will. They will probably also want internet ID. Yeah, that's going to get pushed under the fucking ban porn shit. And by the way, porn has never been less accessible on the internet. Just so we're clear. Because I remember the wild, wild west days of the internet. And I didn't even get on the internet super, super early. I mean, I got on like 2000 is when I remember getting on the internet. Not even like I was on in like late 90s. Like, there were people who've been on like since 95 or some shit. Or even a little earlier. And, I mean, I remember the days when like, there literally did used to be pop. You could just be minding your fucking business and get porn pop-ups when you're nowhere near a porn site. You know? There used to be porn sites that tried to trick you into going to them. Like whitehouse.com was actually a porn site. Like, nowadays, I mean, it's entirely scrubbed from fucking Facebook. You know, it's mostly scrubbed off Twitter. I mean, there are porn stars that have their accounts, but like, you have to be following it. Like, if you find porn on the internet, and you can find it, but you have to be looking for it. So all these people like, oh, it's everywhere. It's like, yeah, because you're fucking Googling it every day. It's in your face because you fucking went to Blackton Brazers and fucking... Like, Nick Fuentes, oh, the Mossad hacked me. That's why there was gay porn on my street. No, there's gay porn on your street because you probably watch gay porn every day. Because you're a very obviously gay little fucking turd. Twitter has a lot of porn bots, so they do, but... Yeah, Twitter's bad with the porn bots. I'll grant you that one. Now that I think about it, I haven't gotten them in a while, but I did kind of forget about that wave of pussy and bio fucking ones. Yeah, I get you. I'll grant you that one. What's the alternative? Be fucking Gab? Where free speech is the narrow little window of whatever doesn't make fucking Andrew Torba's pussy hurt? How about you just don't let your kids on the internet? How about that? How about we don't, like, the internet would be better without kids anyways. And their little fucking brains can't handle it, so just don't let them on the fucking internet. Like, it's rotting their brain. Even before the porn, it's rotting their fucking brains. Just sticking them in front of a fucking TikTok reel. It's just rotting their brains. And now they're saying nonsense like Skibbity Toilet, okay? Like, trust me, if anything, the Zoomers of Gen Alpha are actually fucking they're growing up to be sexless little weirdos. For all the pronouns and shit, you'd think, oh, it's just oversexed, but actually the opposite. It's a generation of 30-year-old virgins that are afraid of pretty girls and cry if there's a love scene in a movie. So he says, Wolfland says, going full internet access should be like driving a car, getting your first gun. Wait till like 16 or something. There's no way I'd let my kid... If I had a kid, there's no way they'd have unfiltered internet access. Period. Like, I'm not sticking a smartphone in your fucking face. Like, you can have a fucking flip phone when you leave the house. That's it. Like, nah, read a fucking book. I ain't too much fucking screen time, man. Enough's enough. Since too many conservatives think their right to government assistance in keeping their kids away from influences supersedes other people's right to consume them. Yeah. Guess what? I'm an adult. I have a right to beat off to porn. I'm a fucking 40-year-old man. Alright? I have every right to fucking look up like fucking just off the top of my head, let's say I wanted to watch Janet Mason and Alice Green fucking licking each other's pussy. Just off the top of my head. I have every right to watch that. Alright? Well, what if my kid sees it? It's your fucking problem. I didn't show it to him. You're the one letting him have a fucking internet access. Like, you watch he's your kid. You watch him. I didn't come in your wife. Why is it my responsibility? You fucking watch your kid. Nobody made you have a kid, okay? I know if the fucking trads and social conservatives had their way, we'd all be in a fucking breeding farm. But that ain't the case. Nobody made you have a kid. Nobody needed you to have a kid. There's 8 billion motherfuckers on this planet. We probably could have done without your dumbass kid. But you had a kid. And now you need to fucking take care of it. I don't want to hear this shit about what I gotta do because maybe your kid would get into some shit. It's your fucking problem. Cut the goddamn Wi-Fi if you have to. Fucking slap him upside the head next time you catch him doing shit used. You know, sometimes my ass got fucking beat if I didn't do shit I was supposed to do. Somebody said, I just asked people who want to ban porn for their browser history. Everybody who wants to ban porn has a porn addiction. You can't convince me otherwise. Every one of them, like, because basically if you're saying we need to ban porn, what you're saying, what I'm hearing is help me daddy government. I can't stop gooning to blacksonmoms.com, so you need to take away my internet access. That's what I'm hearing. And guess what? If you have a porn addiction, you can get help. I mean, you know, are you in a church? You probably find a fucking buddy that can find some mentor you trust who you can just let him at any time be able to view your fucking computer, even remotely. Better be someone you trust if you do any online banking or shit like that, but whatever. It's your fucking problem. Put some goddamn net nanny shit on your fucking computer. Throw your fucking computer away if it's a problem for you. Fucking unplug. Because then I wouldn't have to hear you dumbass rambling on Twitter, so it'd be good for me too. I don't want to hear it like, oh, we have to throw away the last bits of free speech because I can't stop gooning. How much porn are you fucking consuming that it's ruining your life? All these people tell me porn is ruining their life and it's frying their brain. How much of it are you watching? Jesus. What? You know, once in a while you fire it up, you crank one out, and you move on with your day. What are you doing? Just spending hours edging to it or something? Like, maybe stop doing that. Maybe get another hobby. I like to read comics. You know, I don't know. You gay Zoomers like your anime, I guess. I don't know. Do that. Maybe watch some classic films. I recommend starting with RoboCop. It's not my fucking problem. You know, I'm allowed to look at Kim Possible through 34, all right? Just because you can't handle your booze doesn't mean everyone else has to be a teetotaler. Well, I think I'm going to log off and chat. I'm not getting any more super chats, and I am a whore. took a fucking nap this afternoon. I shouldn't have done it, but I just had a ripping fucking headache. So I'm like, I'll just take some Excedrin and lay down. Next thing you know, it was like 2.5 hours later. It really throws off the day. Like it's like 11 o'clock, but it feels like it should be like 7 or 8 to me. All right. Well, that's about it for tonight, folks. I hope you enjoy the content, and if you do enjoy the content, streamlabs.com/thebeckoff. Send a super chat. PayPal.me/thebeckoff, and shit, I'll try to remember to throw my Amazon wishlist down there. You buy me dumb shit I like. That'd be cool. But that's about it for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening.